Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
There I am. I didn't know how to get rid of that then. Good evening, folks, and welcome to Alien Addict. We have GUFON radio in the house tonight, or just GUFON these days. Just playing on GUFON. I kind of wish Rich should bring back the radio bit, but no, GUFON it is. We'll settle for GUFON. And we've got Must See audio in the house. So without further ado, Rich, welcome. Rich, I'm glad you've got rid of the radio. I was only joking. I know that might piss you off a little bit, but yeah. I'm GUFON, plain old GUFON. Oh, Rich, you've muted your mic.
No, you did.
Did I?
I said, yeah. No, do you want me to bring it back just for you?
Just for me, yes, please.
Okay, I won't.
And we got Lee from Must See Audio.
Hi. How's it going?
That's probably the most awkward intro I've ever done.
It's always difficult to start things like this. This is why I usually just exclaim someone's name at the beginning of a podcast, and it's an easy way to start it.
Rich, have you got your can ready?
I already drank my coffee. See,
so I got this.
That's a huge can of Iron Brew.
This is Iron Brew.
Oh wow! I don't know if we have that out here.
I've still got beers, but
okay.
I feel like the Iron Brew will be like the refreshment, but I needed to do this just for you, Rich.
It's the best sound. Wow, that's a perfect one.
Was that a good one?
That's as good as it gets. That's the perfect sound ever.
Iron Brew's amazing. That's one of my favorite soft drinks.
Wow. Okay. I got to see if we have it out here. I think you told me that we have them out here in the States.
It's everywhere in Scotland. It's like Scotland's Coca-Cola.
Oh, I got you. Okay. I'll have to check it out.
And this is like my Coca-Cola, but the sound of
I have a
opening
box of wine because I'm a functioning alcoholic.
Okay, can you hold the glass up and pour it to the mic?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Wow. You're double fisting it.
Now that sounded amazing.
Good job. I looked cool while I was doing it as well. I could have looked really stupid for a second.
That was beautiful.
What's that? Them channels that do them strange things where they make lots of sex noises.
That's ASMR, and it's not strange. And I listen to GBA ASMR nearly every night to go to sleep. Every night I listen to her like scratching cork and stuff like that.
What?
So we are here to talk about UFOs.
No, not yet. What is this? I need to go to sleep to that.
ASMR, it's just people making strange names that make your head go funny. Like
ASMR?
ASMR. If you like cans open and if you're into that sort of stuff, you'll like ASMR.
All right, I'm writing it down.
And GB is beautiful.
Ah. Okay.
I just realised I didn't have the chat up then. How rude of me. So yeah.
I've got a chat up. It's not even my show.
Well, that's because you're a professional, Lee.
I said hello.
Can you engage with them? I'd just like to know what's there.
I don't do the roll call. That's
no,
you, Rich. That's a Rich thing.
I don't do it when I have a guest, though.
Yeah, well, if I did a roll call, you know, as I'm probably one of the most dyslexic people that I know, other than my mother, and reading people's names would be hilarious.
Is that mother with a silent Z?
Yes. So 180 days to the UFO disclosures, the countdown. Please. I think we'll go to you first, Rich, with this one, with just the look on your face.
It's just clickbait. That's all that title was when they put that article out. There's no disclosure happening. All that is they want to get as many stories as they can from the government to say that they have a threat assessment problem with UFOs because we don't know where they're coming from, who's flying them. And, you know, the UFOs haven't done anything really. that we could say that's a threat, although we've seen airplanes get dents in them and things of that nature, but there's no proof. So what? Tic Tac, we're going to go by a Tic Tac story that Fravor had from 2004. Come on, man. These guys have been seeing UFOs forever. They're not a threat. They just want funding. That's it. And I don't know what they want to do with the money. I'm trying to think to myself, what would they want funding for? If they're using it to study UFOs, great. But I almost just think it's to get a salary for doing very minimal work.
But surely it's so easy to funnel money off into black projects anyway.
Yeah.
Why would they?
I don't understand.
Because I was very interested in the thing in the like the 180 days to disclosure thing, because I mean, you might be right. You might be absolutely right. It might just be a way to get money somewhere else other than we want it. But at the end of the day, it still makes people that are just normal John and Karens of the world pay more attention to the subject.
I'm all for that.
Yeah, in that case, I mean, that's disclosure, because that, you know, and realistically, the odd thing about disclosure is because we've had so many other little things come out from different governments. When we say disclosure, we actually mean we want the American government to acknowledge it for some reason.
Any government. If any government did it.
Yeah.
And says we have been working hand in hand with aliens. Well, what are the Americans do it? You know, what is Russia doing? China. See, I think that's what Lou Elizondo's been doing, going around the last couple of years trying to get these countries to disclose what they know, because they want to know if it's their technology that they're hiding from us, not just aliens. So I could understand that part of it.
Speaking about Russia and China, so Nick Pope, he said that they kind of wish it was UFOs. They wish it was alien.
Yeah.
Because if it's not, and it is Russia or China, you know.
If it was Russia or China, I would know it, because we'd be speaking Russian or Chinese right now.
Right. That's true. Yeah.
So
they would take over.
So you would say that we're on the agreement here that we don't think it's another country's technology?
I think it's ours.
Do you think it's American technology?
I think it's a black secret projects. There was an article that I found from 1993. There were Iraqi soldiers talking about the Americans having drones that did things that are undrone-like, like, you know, making right-angle turns at hundreds of miles, thousands of miles an hour, taking straight off and going into space within seconds. That's not a drone. And that, I mean, if they're saying they saw a drone do that, well, it's a drone with, you know, some sort of technology we don't know about.
Yeah, I mean, I watched a video this afternoon, oddly enough, nothing UFO related, but it was a DARPA video of them with a robotic, like cheetah, they called it. It was like a four-legged, like dog type thing. And it was suspended from a thing, but it ran at 28 miles an hour on the treadmill.
Oh yeah, I've seen those. Like
I looked
at Boston.
Yeah, but I looked at it and thought, fucking hell, that's crazy. Then realized the video was 8 years old. So,
Right.
I mean, that thing is clearly, by now, in 8 years' time, untethered and faster.
Well, have you seen the company Boston Dynamics?
Yeah.
Lots
of that CGI stuff, though, isn't it? You never know.
There is some now. There's some people. I've gone blurred. I'll stay blurred. Oh no, there we go. Thank you.
How odd it is that your camera didn't react to that strange dance you did for it.
It usually works. Yeah, there is some CGI stuff where you see the guys prodding it and then they do the gun stuff. But
yeah,
there's also those
the
little
dance.
dog
The
things.
dance looked CGI at Christmas.
Well, yeah. What about that one with what is it from what's the guy, the billionaire dude? I can't think of his name.
Elon Musk.
Those all the robots dancing.
Yeah, and he tweeted that and said this isn't CGI.
Right.
I was looking at it thinking, that looks like CGI to me.
Really? I thought it looked legit.
There was something odd with the shadows. The reflections looked really good in the glass, but when you look at the shadows on the floor, it didn't look quite right to me.
I'll take a look again. All right.
We've got $9.99. $9.99 for fake disclosure.
For fake dollars for disclosure.
I can't pronounce your name, mate, but thank you very much. VPXM. How do you say that? How do you say that?
I think it's Vice President of XM Radio.
Oh, there you go. Is he on here?
Yeah.
Oh, good to hear.
Of course. You're Alien Addict, dude. See? Alien Girl.
I love these people. Yeah, Alien Girl. I need to get Alien Girl 111 on here. She's got a cool little channel. I've been watching some of her.
I know. I'm supposed to have her on too. It was like 3 months ago.
She's great.
What's wrong with us?
Oh, she's delivered me a super chat. Thank you very much, Alien Girl. You're a sweetheart, and you've got a great channel. Everybody check out Alien Girl. Subscribe. We need more females in the UFO community.
Hell yeah, we do.
It's in the conspiracy field in general, isn't it? It's a real sausage factory, for honest.
It is, isn't it? Yeah,
it is.
It's kind of like, other than Told Linda, Alton Howe, Doody.
Yeah, well, it's either middle-aged men or really old women.
Yeah. No, I reckon she was fine in her prime.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. In like the 1800s, smoking hot.
So Lee, you messaged me this week and you said, I want to do a show and put a podcast down. I said, well, I was going to ask you on anyway with Rich. So this is going to go out on your podcast.
Yeah.
On Must See Audio, which is on Spotify. And I have left the link in the description, guys, to all these and Rich's channel as well. So go check them out. But you wanted to do this show, so you obviously have something quite,
to be honest, I want to speak to people that know what they're talking about when it comes to this thing being slipped into the bill. Because I found it very interesting what you're saying about thinking it might just be money, because all these things that just keep dripping out now, and it's constantly the Tic Tac, it's constantly Fravor that's been placed out places. The Lazar thing that pops up every time this comes up too. It just feels very organized. And orchestrated, and that, especially with having GUFON as well. I want to know what you think. Why you think it's happening?
I don't know. That's what I was saying. Why are they doing it? Every year there's something like this that happens. We got to pass this to get funding for that, and I don't really understand what it's for.
This has been a long game, though.
Of course, this is just another wrong piece of the puzzle being squeezed into a place it shouldn't fit. It just, to me, just seems like another ploy to get what they want. Now, if that's something that if they're trying to, let's say, get disclosure, I don't think that we're going to get disclosure with this. Nick Pope said it. This isn't going to bring disclosure. Everybody's saying it's not going to bring disclosure. All it is to get as many stories of the threat so they can pass this along and get the funding. Why? I don't know. What are they funding to do? What? Hunt UFOs? See, it just bothers me. It's a COVID bill, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's weird in itself.
So this bill it's about funding, right? Isn't it so they can get money to fight COVID?
Or it was part of the stimulus bill as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. Money. Everything it's always about money.
See, the way I read it was the sort of the idea that maybe somebody's gone and snuck this in because there was so many things in it. Somebody's kind of snuck it in under the cover of darkness. Or into
the bill?
Yeah.
I didn't hear that one, but that's that's why it wasn't in the bill originally.
And someone's just
that's interesting.
Is they officially?
No. I heard someone else say it, or I read it somewhere. I can't remember who it was. It was somebody of note that said it anyway. I can't remember who it was.
Okay.
But even the stuff I still think the biggest thing to get people that aren't interested in UFOs talk about UFOs is what Joe Rogan's been doing on his podcast. We got the biggest platform in the world, and he had some crazy stuff. As far as having Fravor on there, Lazar on. The Lazar interview, I think we can all agree was interesting, but a bit of a car crash for him.
It was good.
It was, it's something I've been interested in for ages. I don't know what you'd think if that was your first experience of Bob Lazar, but I enjoyed watching it.
Oh, Lee, when you say a bit of a car crash, sorry, Rich.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say. So when you say a little bit of a car crash for Joe Rogan, why
not for Rogan, for Lazar, in the eyes of people that don't know who he is, because the whole migraine thing and stuff like that, it made him come across as deceptive when I've seen him be more genuine, authentic than that.
The migraine were a bit weird though.
But I have to imagine this guy's going on a lot of shows, I think, and he may have actually gotten a migraine. I know it didn't sit well with me, but I've had migraines before, and it's hard to see and think when you have a migraine. So
a friend of mine has terrible migraines. I'm so happy I don't have them.
Right.
Yeah, my dad gets them.
You do too, right?
No, I don't. My dad does. He can't leave the house. He literally stays in bed and throws up.
Well,
I suppose it affects different people in different ways. But that migraine thing, I was just like a little bit. But then he's being analysed. People have analysed his mannerisms. These YouTube channels that just do that, where they kind of, what do they call it? Where they look at somebody and see if they're like, what do they call that?
When they're looking micro expressions,
body language specialist.
Body language.
There's a couple of really good ones.
I don't get the words, but the people have done that, and they said there's a few of them that said he's telling the truth.
Yeah,
it's consistent. We say whenever I've been on a podcast with you, we always say he's consistent, and there's those things. What did you think of the fact that he just threw out that things were found in Antarctica? Because that seemed new. Because I know me and Ollie spoke about this. That seemed like a new piece of the puzzle that no one's heard before.
You're talking about when he said that they were ancient?
Yeah, and Lazar said that they'd found stuff in Antarctica.
Is that for me or Rich?
Rich.
Yeah, repeat it.
You spoke about. We have spoken about.
When Lazar was on the Rogan podcast, he dropped in that these things have been dug up in an archaeological dig in Antarctica, and I don't remember hearing Lazar ever saying that before.
Never did.
Yeah, so I find it odd that, or not odd. Maybe it was something that he'd only just decided to put out or to add to the story or something like that. But I was just wondering whether you'd heard that before from his story.
No, the only thing I remember, and I've followed Bob since day one, is that he said that apparently there's 9 or 10 of these, and they're all in the hangar there when he took a peek inside the door. And from what he understood is that they were from crashed UFOs. And he says, I don't know if they were mock-up models I was looking at, because one of them I was working on, the sports model, had a flag on it, American flag. So, he doesn't know. He's just, back then, that's all he said. He never said anything about an archaeological dig site anywhere.
Do you think he's done that to sex it up then?
Or he just, a lot of people ask, well, where'd the UFOs come from? Maybe he decided to say an archaeological dig. I didn't know that he said it was from Antarctica, though. I thought he just said they were found in archaeological dig sites.
I thought it was Antarctica. Maybe I've got it wrong.
I may have it wrong. I mean, it happens to me a lot lately, and you'll see once you get to 50.
So, Rich, what do you think is actually going to get said in 100 and I think it's 176 days now? I probably should have called this video 176 days to
Probably
UFO
less, mate.
disclosure.
Well, the report must address, according to the Senate Intelligence Committee, observed airborne objects that have not been identified. Okay. And they should include a detailed analysis of unidentified phenomena data collected by a geospatial intelligence, signals intelligence, and human intelligence, and also measurement and signals intelligence. So, and it also must give detailed analysis of data to the FBI.
I think what people don't seem to realize, and you kind of were under the impression when you messaged me earlier that I didn't realize it either, but I think that was just a communication issue between the Facebook, is that the public's not really going to hear much about this. This is not for the public. Yes, it's being put out there, but this information is us little people are not going to know shit.
Well, it'll be public information. We could always do a FOIA request or whatever. The bill's out there. It's a $2.3 trillion COVID relief thing, a relief funding bill.
But if there is something sensitive in there,
right, we're not going to say.
We are not going to find out.
No, Nick Pope said the same thing. He says, don't expect disclosure. Don't expect the real sensitive information to be given to the public. End of story. It's just a ploy. It's just clickbait title for the news. That's all that is.
But why would they be interested in making like money for the New York Post? Do you know what I mean? Why? You can slip things in other ways. You can move money around. You know, things get funded for billions of dollars. So why would you do that? It feels like it's put there for people. You know, it's put there for the public, and it's not that like the American public don't have the go ahead to go and say, yes, that's okay, tick that off. They can have that money for that. So it's the fact that it's a UFO thing that's going to be put out in 180 days. That's the headline that's there for people to listen to hear. That's what makes me think something will come out of this.
That's interesting.
That's because if it just said the latest COVID-19 bill includes information about UFOs, would you feel the same way instead of them saying countdown for UFO disclosure?
I'd still find it odd. I'd still find it odd that it was slid into a relief fund essentially for businesses and the public. But I still keep thinking about your man. Who was your rocket scientist?
Bob Lazar?
No, German came over. Project Paperclip. Come on, chat, help me out.
Elon Musk?
No, Project Paperclip.
Oh, Paperclip. Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm talking about that. Yeah, he invented the V2 rocket.
Yeah,
Vernon von
Braun. Yeah.
And I forgot his assistant's name as well. But
she does
the UFO circuit, doesn't she? And her thing's always been that he always said to her that when to push, like, for want of better words for this, a new world order type thing, that you would have a nuclear threat, terrorism, something else, and then the last card would be a fake alien invasion.
Right.
And it seems and sounds crazy, and it is a bit crazy. But when you look at the way that it's all of a sudden from complete, like, no, don't be silly, UFOs, there's nothing there, to this just open acceptance of, it's not even a case of, are they alien? No, they might be interdimensional, or they might be alien. We're not sure at the moment. It's just this open acceptance of it. It just lends itself more to that thing.
When you say interdimensional, that's where I'm leading with all of this. Mm-hmm. So just so everybody knows, that is kind of like whenever I hear anything to do with UFOs or anything like that, I'm very much going down that route of the shadow figures, this, that, and the other. That's kind of where I am with it. Only because I've kind of seen shit like that myself. That kind of makes me think, why aren't these guys that are, or maybe they are. We just don't know about it because they don't want to. They don't want to seem like they're a laughing stock. But why don't these guys seem like they're researching this type of stuff, like in terms of the paranormal, and bringing that into it? Because I think that is very much a part of it. But we don't hear much about that. We just hear about the aerial threat.
Yeah, I think UFOs are interdimensional or terrestrial. I've thought that for years. That it's either interdimensional or they've just always been here, and we are it's whatever it is that far advanced. It's the equivalent of ants seeing a human walk past.
Yeah.
Rich, I would probably class you as my go-to guy when it comes to asking you anything about ufology, because you kind of usually you have the answer. How long has this been on the scene? Metamaterials.
That
the ones that we found. Ones that we found that we know of. How far does this go back?
Late 80s that I know of. I mean, it's been said it's been since Roswell, 47. They've had materials.
How long has it been in the public knowledge that about metamaterials?
Public knowledge, really, that's a tough one because in our field, we know about it, but I don't think it's. I would have to say late 90s.
You see, to me, I only heard about this through TTSA metamaterials.
Oh, really? Wow. Well, I guess you're saying for the general public. That's true. Yeah, see, I'm thinking of shows like In Search Of and things like that were on way long ago, talking about an object that fell out of the sky and the guy picked it up. It was still hot.
Is that the drip type thing? Yeah, I remember the drip.
Yeah,
so whatever. That was the 90s, was it? That
late, mid to late 90s. I think 97. But that was the first public introduction to that from Unsolved Mysteries, I believe.
But we didn't call them metamaterials back
then. No, we didn't.
That's what I'm talking about.
Unknown materials, off-world.
Meta's a very now word, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's when you look at like comedy and stuff like that, you get like meta humor on the internet and stuff. It's a very now term.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to go back to that article that you were talking about, Nick Pope talking to Tucker Carlson. He mentioned the metamaterials, and I wonder if that is what they want to know. That is one of the main things. Never mind the threat. They want all the information they have on these bits of material. And I know people. There are companies that are producing metamaterials of some kind now, but this, not like this, not as complex as this. Apparently, it can't be done.
Well, apparently this isn't even that complex. Though the reason they say they can't do an analysis on it is because it's made of atomic materials, whatever that means. I don't know what that means, but that's what I just talked about the other day. It's made out of atomic materials, whatever that means. So we don't have the technology to analyze it. That's what I was being told. Oh, that's what we were being told. And I also heard that they know it's nothing. So they're saying it's something they can't analyze because they pumped it up so much. And now they have this piece of metal that's really 90% nickel and iron and all sorts of earthly stuff.
Sounds like something Mr. Greer would be peddling.
Well, I think it came from Art Bell, right? Isn't this Art Bell, Art's Parts? Isn't this the material they bought for $35,000 off Linda Moulton Howdy Doody?
Jeez. Is that how much it got sold for?
Yeah. Oh, 35 grand. Public record.
It's a lot of money for a bit of melted aluminum. I even said aluminum for you then. Said aluminium like you should have done. That weird.
I need to have like some sort of sound indicator when people say Greer, so I could just like pop him up like that.
Oh my God, he's got the mask on. That's brilliant.
I was showing. So that's the.
My God.
If you remember from the last interview, but I had to cover it up. I'm so Ronnie. I'm sorry if you're watching this. I really do.
You did have to cover it up.
I love his partner.
My God, it's unbelievable.
How you haven't covered it up? I can still see it's fun.
Yeah, you didn't cover it up.
I gave it head.
Yeah. That's just wrong and right in every way.
Sorry, Lee, I forgot this is going out on the podcast. People will be like,
"It's fine, it's fine."
If you describe it,
I did a podcast the other day, which was purely visual. It was a strange podcast.
So just to describe it, it is like a lion woman.
It's
like,
Chitara. It's Chitara with long hair.
It is.
Yeah.
And the original image that I have has very
detailed camel toe.
Quite, it's got a camel toe. Yes, it does have a camel toe. But anyway, we'll get rid of that and back onto the serious subjects. I just thought I needed to show it.
Cat toe.
Yeah. The most speechless you'll ever see me in an interview is the one before this one with Ronnie Dawson. Bless him, Ronnie.
No, you were. I can't believe how much. I've never seen you laugh that much during an interview like that.
Actually, the most speechless I've ever been during an interview is when I had you and Osvaldo Franco on, Rich.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. You just let us go at it.
I just literally thought, you know what? I kind of wish I had a pack of cigarettes at the time, so I could just go off for a cigarette and leave you to the argument. It was a great debate. So I wonder what Oz thinks of all this.
Oh, right. You haven't talked to him?
Oh, well, bits and bats going forward. But I mean, again, like you said, you mentioned Alessandro. I mean, he's gone. Him and
Christopher Mellon and Steve Justice. Yeah.
Just for my listeners' benefit, will you just point out who they are on what
from
what
TTS to the Stars Academy. Mm-hmm. The top boys of TTSA have done one. They've gone.
Have they? I didn't realize that. That's your man with the little silly beard, isn't it? The big guy.
That's Luis Elizondo. Yeah.
Rich loves his beard.
Ugh. It's dirty.
I'm not a fan of the tickler. I think it's weird when people have them. If you're going to have a beard, just have a beard. Just don't shave. It's dead easy.
But yeah, I mean, I know we're talking about the 180 days to the UFO disclosure, but I mean, I kind of needed to do a video about that. I mean, where has this left TTSA?
The TTSA is a con, in my eyes. I've never had a lot of faith in it. You can even see now from DeLong himself, he's back to tweeting about Blink-182 and when they're going on tour again and stuff like that. And it's disappeared from his social medias. And that TTSA was the only reason I followed him, because I don't particularly like his band. He didn't seem like a particularly bad person, but I'm not into it. But it always seemed like it was one of those things, wasn't it? To me, it was the gamble where even when you saw it, like the buy-in was $100, I thought, well,
$250.
Was it $250? Was it?
Yeah.
But I even thought to myself, well, it's not a huge amount of money to buy in, so that means you're not going to get a lot of shares. But if they bring like flying zero gravity cars out, any shares are going to be worth a load of money. So I did wonder to myself for a split second, is it worth taking the punt? I think I was probably right in my hesitation.
I almost did. only because I felt like I kind of needed to, because I was talking about TTSA at the time in quite a positive light, and I almost put the money in. I thought, you know what, put your money where your mouth is. Put the money in. But my wife wouldn't let me. So
I think it spoke volumes to me when they started having a History Channel show.
Yeah.
It's...
But they're not hiding anything. TTSA is To the Stars Academy of Arts and Science, and they are about entertainment. It says it right in their
So, the main advertisement that Tom put out,
their mission statement is that.
Yeah, that's the one.
I think the difference, I get what you mean, and when you read it at face value, you would say, I'm investing in a production company here that's going to put like TV programs and films and maybe books out. But when you've got the spokesman of that having press conferences saying they have like extraterrestrial materials and they're going to make fucking flying saucers, then at what point it's like the History Channel documentary. Remember they did the History Channel documentary about mermaids?
Yeah,
and
2 days.
Fucking crazy for a second because I thought, what? Hang on a second, is this real?
I thought it was real. Yeah.
I thought it was real. It got me. And then it was like, oh no, it's all like a parody thing. And it's I mean, is that what To the Stars was? Was everybody playing part in like a real time role playing game when we were getting behind it?
That's interesting. That's an interesting way to put that out there. But I don't think
the kids
so.
would laugh, wouldn't they now?
Well, yeah, I don't know. Well, Lou Elizondo and those guys left because they thought they were there for disclosure. They didn't get along with Tom DeLonge. Tom DeLonge dipped into his own pocket to pay them their salaries. So it seems like the house of cards was falling anyway. So I think, their 3 years was up and they saw an opportunity to leave and they left. They're go off to bigger and better things, as Lou put it.
Do you think they are part of whatever machine is pushing the like the media side of things now?
Oh my gosh, I think they will be. But if they do, then they're in the same boat they just were.
Unless they're then steering the ship, that might be
true. But the media may tell them, well, we won't air that because we can't. Well, who said? My boss.
Just see again. I think this is that thing with, and I'm so I'm a massive Joe Rogan fan anyway. I think what he's done to build what he has is incredible.
Yeah.
You almost don't need the media anymore, and in certain respects, I would think it's. If you saw something on like the JRE, that to me's got more credibility, them sat there talking about it for 3 hours, than a 5-minute segment on CNN. I think that there's more cultural gravitas behind like a really big YouTuber or a really big podcaster now than a TV station could ever have in 2021.
That is where the future is, my friend. You're not wrong on that. I tend to agree.
I think as well with that, when you're actually in front of somebody like Joe Rogan, you have no idea what this person is going to ask you. I mean, look at the interview with Tom DeLonge where that went. If you mess up on that show, it can come back to haunt you.
Yeah, look at Elon Musk. He'd have been the richest man in the world like 2 weeks ago if he hadn't done the first Joe Rogan podcast.
Why? Because he smoked pot?
Yeah, because his stock dropped. So he'd have been where he is now a little bit quicker. I don't think he's going to mind. I don't think it worries him.
No. He probably looks back at that and thinks, you know what? I'm glad I did it.
He didn't care.
That's a guy that's enjoying what he's doing.
Yeah. He's a stud, man. That guy's doing it. He's living the life. Imagine setting up rockets every month, every week. Freaking cool.
He's so hard. Because I want to buy into all of it because he's really cool. He's a cool guy. he seems to say the right things as well. You know, when it comes to, do you see today? Today he was is it Portal, the messaging app that he was pushing out instead of people using WhatsApp because of all the crazy privacy stuff WhatsApp's got going with Facebook now. He seems to say the right things all the time, and he seems to be the only person that's in the position he's in where there's even that grain of you who go, oh, I might kind of trust you.
I think with Elon as well, and I've always thought this, when there's all these companies emerging and they're talking about technology that's coming from possibly somewhere else in the universe, why the hell does he, you know, not kind of like, or maybe he is and we just don't know, you know, why is he not looking into these metamaterials? Because we're at the end of the day, he's making, pardon my French, but fucking cool rockets. But
I'm sure he is, because that's what he's going to think his thing's going to be made of at some point.
He's still using technology that they were using, you know, what, 60 years ago, whatever it was, however long ago it was.
Spaceships got touch screens now, got iPads in them.
Yeah, that's the only difference, though. That and they can land.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah,
you know, it's fantastic, but they're still using the same fuel.
Yeah.
You know, we're driving cars still. Well, other than Elon Musk's cars that he started off with, I know there's other companies with electric cars, but an electric car that I'd actually buy. Elon, welcome. You can sponsor this video. But yeah,
if you go back to when we were landing on the moon, people thought we'd be on Mars by now. You know, we'd have bases on the moon by 1999. None of that's happening.
And do you know what, Rich? We probably would have done. We would be if we'd have put a base on the moon.
Yeah. Well, that brings up another question. Do you think maybe we do have a base on the moon? That's why we don't need to keep going. We proved to the Russians and the world that we got there, supposedly, right? That's all that was. But maybe they had this technology right after they went to the moon, or maybe they had to get to the moon to get the technology, kind of like a video game. You get to this level, we know you're smart enough. You can now have access to more stuff.
Yeah.
Pardon?
There's a crumb for your achievement.
What do you think we're on the moon then, Rich?
Somebody's on the moon. I like I said earlier, I think we already have Tic Tacs in our arsenal. I think it's us. I kind of have a feeling the UFOs are actually us.
I think one of the most credible things that's ever come out, like in the UFO field, was Gary McKinnon when he did his hack. And that, if you want to talk about a person that's never changed his story, made far too little money off a story than he probably should have done. And, you know, it was in the point of being extradited to face charges of espionage, you know. He had a crack at something there, and he nearly got himself in like a life's worth of bother. And yeah, that manifest he had of off-world officers, I think, is probably the most legit thing I've ever seen.
I remember seeing that. There's a few people that have made really good like videos about, but I've never seen like kind of many interviews with him in. No,
that's what I mean. He's very much in a Bob Lazar way, or even more lower profile than Lazar. He's not wanted to make his name known. You know, it's like there's a chance now that people outside of like the UFO sort of field and like beyond might know who Lazar is, unless you're British and you happen to remember the story, or you're from somewhere else in the world that's interested in UFOs. That's the only way you know who Gary McKinnon is. And even then, he's a deep cut for the UFO people.
When you said his name, I had to literally kind of like think. Then I was like, "Who the son about then?" But then as soon as you said that,
lad that looks like Dexter.
Yeah,
Do you think then, Lee, that some of these guys that actually do know what they're talking about and they do have the kind of like some hard-hitting evidence, they won't come out and show it because they're kind of in fear for their life?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're talking about if Rich is right and it's American technology, you are talking about a highly classified military aircraft. You know, you're not going to be around long if you're going to divulge those sort of secrets.
Do you remember the ufologist that died a few years back? I can't remember his name, but he apparently called his mother. Rich? Do you know what I'm talking about? Who's the guy?
Yeah, he was. When he died, they went to his place. He was poisoned. He started coughing up black stuff, and black tar was coming out of him. And they think his girlfriend might have done it to him, and she was part of a spy team. But he actually was getting all these records. He had like all these files and all of this work in his place. And he was about to break something open. I can't remember exactly right now because it's on the fly. But yeah, I remember that guy.
There was a phone call, wasn't there, to his mother or something? He
called his mother and says, "If you don't hear from me, I'm probably dead."
Yeah. What was the guy's name?
Oh God, I don't know. I think Christopher Augustine or something like that.
That name rings a bell.
That was scary.
Yeah,
his apartment was really weird, wasn't it? It was like when you saw pictures of it, it ended up as being like stereotypical conspiracy theorist, you know, with things stuck on the wall and stuff like that, and writing everywhere. And that to me seemed, unless he was crazy, you know, there's always that chance. But it almost seemed like it was too perfect. You know, it's a conspiracy theorist kills himself, and then you go there, and there's all these pieces of string around the room because he's been working out what's going on. It seemed like a way to discredit the story, like when you saw it inside his apartment.
I think with things like this as well, there probably is like a psychological aspect to it. I mean, when you go down that rabbit hole of looking into, you know, UFOs, and you kind of then come to the conclusion that you can't trust anything. If you're that deep into that shit and you're traveling the world and trying to get into complexes or whatever you're trying to get into, it is going to absolutely mess with your head. I ain't saying the guy that is by any means talking nonsense or whatever. Rest in peace. You know, what I'm saying is, for some of the researchers, me as well, probably Rich at some point. I don't know if you've been down that rabbit hole, Lee.
Most of the rabbit holes.
But I have, like, you know, I even once, I daren't admit this, but I once just looked, you know, out of the airplane and thought, you know, maybe it is flat. But no, I understand as a researcher that you can go down so many different paths that you kind of fuck yourself up a little bit.
Yeah,
you do. And back to the subject of 180 days to disclosure, there have been many people looking at this and thinking, what's going to happen in 180 days? What is actually going to surface from this? And I think the answer to that is you won't. If it's anything important, you won't know.
Well, the amazing thing is that now, especially if it was put out sort of like mainstream media wise, I hate saying mainstream media. I wish there was a new I wish there was a different word for it, because it's a cliche in itself saying that. But if it was, let's just say on every major news channel, there was a story, it comes out, they go from Roswell. There was a crash in Roswell. There was little grey fellas in it. we've been trying to back engineer the craft. We can't do it. There's things flying up in the sky. We're not really sure what they are, but we don't think they're going to hurt us because they haven't done it yet. Anyone that's interested in UFO, any conspiracy theorist would instantly go, it's fake. And then everyone that's never been interested in it would go, oh, amazing, aliens are real. And it would completely switch on its head, where all of a sudden the researchers would become the skeptics, and the skeptics would become the believers. I don't think there's any way out of that. We've got ourselves in such a fucking cultural tangle where because there's nobody believes an expert anymore. Nobody believes an expert, and nobody believes anybody unless they tell them something in a way they want to hear it. I'm guilty of that as well. Like, we'll go back to Rogan. Like, I'll listen to Rogan. Yeah, sounds right. Rogan said it. Yeah. I mean, he's no idea. He's a fucking comedian. He's a comedian guy that fucking talks about combat sports. He's not. But yeah, because I heard him say it first when the whole the COVID thing happened. I start taking vitamin D tablets because Joe Rogan said it was a good idea.
I think anybody that lives. Well, no, you don't live actually in England, but is it the Isle of Man, Isle of Wight?
I think if I were a separate country.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, but anybody in our vicinity should take vitamin D because we don't get the sun.
Absolutely, especially at the minute. We're locked down again now.
Oh yeah,
we're back with you fuckers.
Yeah. Well,
you sent one of yours over here, and it infected our tiny little island.
That's my wife has put all that up on the wall to remind me to homeschool. That looks like kids' drawings. It's not. That's kind of like that's the classroom she set up for me.
Is it? Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I like the penguin.
For anybody who's kind of watching this that might be new to the channel, might be like looking in and going, oh, that's a UFO. Yeah, that's an alien walrus that he's drawn. The guy's a fucking madman. that is my that's the tutorial room. That's where I sit my little boy down and go, right, today we are watching Peppa Pig. There you go.
Pepper Pig.
I fucking hate that.
He's too old for Peppa Pig.
I don't have that out here.
Good. Never have it. Never let it into your country. God. Jesus.
It's Peppa Pig.
You think you've got issues now? You let Peppa Pig in, it's fucked.
Oh my God. I got to meet this guy. Pepper Pig.
But to get back to the UFO topic, how much
I know you're gonna say the Tic Tac, them little things that dangle off the Tic Tac, they look like Peppa Pig's legs.
Oh, you use Peppa Pigs as means of propulsion. But how much credit, Rich, do you? Because I've spoken about this with Ollie before. How much credit do you give the idea of a? Was it Reagan that had the speeches with the world needs an outside alien threat?
Yes. It's in his intro.
Yeah. How much credit do you give that as something that would be like conjured?
No, I don't think so. I mean, that's something we've been saying for many years anyway. Mm-hmm. If with all the stuff going on in the world when 9/11 happened, sorry, don't want to say it too loud, but the whole world seemed to come together for a moment.
Yeah.
And, that's kind of prophetic to what he said. And he was right. But that was more for the American people than the whole world, even though the whole world stopped. Now, I think that's right. It's a prophetic thing to say that'll probably never happen. I don't think disclosure will happen. That's just me. But if it did, he's right. We would all unite and be human. Instead of black, white, African American, Chinese, Russian, you know what I mean? We would be humans. Everything would change as we know it. It would be very cool.
But it feels like and I'm guilty of this myself, because I don't think there's any way of not doing it. It's only in the last few years, or last year or two, I've realized how malleable people are. And from what, when you have like social media and stuff firing adverts at you and things, and not realizing it. Like I know it's a bit late to the disco talking about social dilemma, but the minute that it was explained to me that when I get a notification, it doesn't necessarily mean that person has just messaged me. It's just been kept in the bank for a minute until the time where they want me to look at my phone, because they'll get more attention and for a longer period out of me. I suddenly started to realize, well, how much do I believe, and like, how much have I been influenced? Because I've become much less left wing and much closer to the center, drifting to sort of center right as I've got older.
Yeah.
And you think about how have I been manipulated in that way, and then you look at all the chaos that's everywhere. It almost feels like it's begging for that big unifying moment to happen.
It is. I think about that a lot. I've talked about it. I feel like something is imminent. Something major is about to happen. I never felt that ever in the 17 years I've been doing this until just recently. Now, is that because of the world events and things that have been happening? Yeah, probably, because it's pretty not awesome, but it is awesome that the whole world basically locked down, which was weird. I think that was just a test to see how people would react if they were told to stay indoors. I think this whole thing is a test. I know COVID's real and all that. I get it, but maybe it was just done to see how the world would react together, because maybe a false flag.
I still think the biggest red flag over this, apart from the red flag that's going to be on Paul Ollie's channel because we keep saying COVID, the biggest red flag of the whole virus thing was the universal language that was used from every country. Like every country, all of a sudden, from my small island, which has got a population of 80,000 people, to America, which has hundreds of millions of people, to China, which has it's a couple of billion people, something like crazy like that. The whole thing was, we must be ready for the new normal, and it's like that is such a strange phrase to come out. That doesn't come out of fucking nowhere. That's a team. That's a think tank that comes up with something like that, because it's an emotive, direct statement. Because it's not. It's embracing, because you got normal in, and it's new, so it's better. So this is your new normal, and you think, well, hang on a second. Well, what? How, that means it's different. It's not normal. It's like what was normal was normal. The new normal will be a different normal. And there's too many things that's like even the phrasing of the wearing masks and stuff like that. I'm personally, from what I've seen of it, I don't think that masks make a massive amount of difference. I do want to go in shops because I can't be bothered with the hassle.
Right.
But guys, with the current subject, like, can we mask it? Because
oh my God,
it will get taken down.
Yeah, cool. But
the video will be gone.
I'll just finish, because it's on the subject, but it's not on the thing. It's got none of the trigger words in it. It just felt like
you don't need trigger words anymore.
Too many things coagulated together. And how many countries have ever had the same outlook on a subject?
Right. I don't know if it's ever happened.
No,
the whole world. I don't think it ever has. You're right. Good point, though. Actually,
and it's weird and it's horrible, but what? No, I'm being serious here, and this is how bad it is that we cannot actually physically express ourselves on a platform in fear of the entire channel being taken out. But
Yeah.
we'll leave it at that. But yeah,
It's a new normal.
as
Yeah,
much
it is. It is the new normal. Yeah,
it is the new normal. It is. But
that would have been a great band name as well.
the new normal
band name. Yeah,
Would be awesome.
But Rich, I think we may have touched on something there, and Lee.
Oh, yeah.
So, especially with, I mean, Lee, I know you talk about other stuff than UFOs, but Rich, this is pretty much what we do. What if talking about UFOs, and I know YouTube doesn't like it anyway because they kind of don't like the whole conspiracy thing, but say if it becomes a normal thing that they are not UFOs and they are of an extraterrestrial origin, or that we find out that these craft are military from a different country, from your country, or whatever, and we're talking about it.
Won't be from my country.
But we cannot talk about it because it will flag us. Maybe that will become a thing.
Yeah, I think. I mean, you're talking about being part of some sort of communist dictatorship, aren't you? I think that's an ever real threat, and it's a threat that I don't think people are taking seriously enough.
I mean, talking about this now seems like it'll never happen, and I know for you, Rich, you've said that disclosure will never happen.
Right.
How do you still feel that way?
Yeah, of course. It just won't, man.
So what's the feeling? What's the feeling that you have? Because you said
the feeling. All right, I hate to be that. I mean, I want to believe that there's something unusual going on because of all the witnesses that have come forward. We lost him. They took him. Oh, there he is.
The cat.
All the people who have abduction stories, all the government stuff that's been released. All these stories aren't fake. Not every one. And it only takes one. So I believe there's something out there. I just don't think they're going to show themselves. If disclosure is going to happen, it's going to be the aliens doing it. The public will be involved, not the government showing us.
Well, I mean, that makes two. You only have two outcomes then, don't you? As far as what UFOs are, if UFOs aren't like human, you have they are either a malevolent threat, which would suggest that the Ike theory of the something that's interfering with humanity, like in a malevolent way, is what's going on, or they are some like the Galactic Federation protectors, which I would prefer. That sounds fucking lovely. But, yeah, it's. I just wish there was. I wish there was something like you could think of which was more grounded and like a more reasonable thing that didn't sound like a sci-fi novel.
Stupid.
But yeah, it's. I can accept the idea of a race coming to Earth to do some like scientific work, but I don't understand like the abductions. I've always been interested in abductions, and it's the case of there's so many of them. I don't know what you think about abductions, Rich, but there's so many of them where you think, well, again, just one. If just one is like an alien race taking a human being, then that's crazy.
Yeah, we don't have any evidence for it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. Nothing. Now, the government may have it, but we don't. The public doesn't have anything. And the stuff that was released, those 3 videos by the Navy or TTSA, whatever you want to say, they're not even UFOs at all, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So, because it's FLIR footage, blurry, fuzzy, huh?
Do you think they're birds?
One of them.
Was it? Do you think he's right? Well, I forgot what your man's name is. Yeah.
The gimbal is probably a. Have you seen Mick West's analysis on it?
Yes, yeah, that's who I was trying to think of.
It's really good. And
right?
I did one too with drones. Yeah, I think it's either drone. The gimbal's a drone or an airplane.
Pond over his pool.
What?
He's talking about the one that he did over the pull with the fishing rod. Where he did the rotation of the Tic Tac.
With the flashlight. Mick West.
Yeah. Have you seen the one over the pool? Over his
I don't remember a pool for some reason.
Yeah, there's one over his pool where he shows the rotation of the Tic Tac, and he actually made a giant Tic Tac.
Oh, really?
Yes.
No, I didn't see that one.
It's incredible.
He's quite obsessive, isn't he?
Good job, though.
Of this. Yeah. No, but in general, and when people seem to question his theory on it, he doesn't take it well either.
I know.
He seems to have made his own little cult inside his own little head.
I've had it out with him on Twitter a few times. I should ask him on.
Yeah.
If he would have UFO Jesus on his show.
There's a strange character. I don't think he does a lot for legitimacy of the subjective and personal.
He's Rich's best mate.
I really haven't talked about him in 2 months. Believe it or not, he's done. Over with.
Yeah, I follow him on Twitter.
He's changed a lot in the last 4 years.
Well, I thought when I first started watching his videos when he first came around, I thought it was a parody. I thought he's a comedian. I thought this is going to be funny. I was wrong. I thought, have you seen the ginger comedian that does like the social justice warrior stuff? He's got like really long ginger hair and a ginger beard.
Who's this?
He's a comedian. He does like the social justice warrior type characters.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Kind of got like a really nice red hair.
Yeah.
Girl.
I thought he was like the UFO version of him when I first saw him. That he was like a parody character.
Yes. Well, UFO Jesus didn't start out that way. He started out as Ryan.
Oh, I only ever saw UFO Jesus. I've never seen the man behind the bat.
Lee, guess who gave him the name UFO Jesus?
Oh, really? Wow.
Yep, absolutely. And he won't give me credit for it. But I was there the day I said it. I came in, and he was just, and I was watching him for a few days because I never seen the guy, and it got recommended, and I'm like, well, this guy's really weird. And I kept listening to him, and I'm like, oh, I could talk about this guy. And then I go in the comment, I said, who do you think you are, UFO Jesus? And then somebody said, yeah, you should be UFO Jesus. And then it just took off. 2 days later, UFO Jesus was born.
Jeez.
No, Jesus. Very good, yeah. and now there, I brought it up to him. I said, why can't you just give me credit for naming you UFO Jesus? And then other people would say, because you didn't. And I'm like, you weren't even there.
Have you had him on your show?
No.
That's a shame.
I know. Maybe I will. Maybe not yet. I have to. I've talked about him a lot. And it wasn't really awful stuff I was saying. It was just like, nope, he's wrong. And your beard is
YouTubers
really
are always at it though, aren't you? It's a much more peaceful world being a podcaster. You're just out there on your own. There's no comment sections.
Oh, is there not? I was looking for I've always looked for the comment section.
What do you
on
mean?
Spotify. Is there no comment section?
I don't think so. I've always thought that if somebody came up with a universal podcast comment section app, that you could listen to a podcast. So it didn't matter what platform you were listening to the podcast on, but then you could use like an iMessage type thing, which would put your message on a board, which would link to the whatever different hosts it was on. That would be, somebody would make lots of money.
If I wanted to play somebody's clips from Spotify on YouTube, can I get a copyright claim?
I don't know. I would imagine, given the fact that it's essentially the same as a news broadcast, isn't it?
Well, if it's a news broadcast, you'd be able to.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I would, unless it was, if it was factual and not performance.
What about Joe Rogan?
I don't see why you couldn't use clips of Rogan's podcast.
I tried to before on YouTube, and
they flagged
shut me off during the live show. I got shut down.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really don't know. I know you can use 7 seconds of anything, can't you?
No, that's not even true.
Oh, is it not? That's also a really good band name as well.
What, 7 seconds?
7 seconds of anything. Sounds like a post-rock band.
Sounds like when I get to bed on a night, I'll take anything.
For 7 seconds.
I was called the 30-second wonder.
What do you want? I'll just have 7 seconds of anything. But
the worst Chinese takeaway.
In all this that's going on right now, I honestly, I was in the kitchen earlier on. I was doing the washing up. I think I sent a couple of voicemails, Rich. I was just thinking to myself, I wonder what the world will be like. And I'm talking not just in terms of what's going on with the pandemic. I'm talking about in the terms of ufology, what it will be like in the next 10 years. Will we actually know? Will be any more the wiser than we are now?
I think we're on the precipice, to be perfectly honest, as a race, or certainly I shouldn't say as a species, because that's a bit inflammatory, but as Western culture, maybe you could say, is on the precipice. We've got some big decisions to make, because you can't. It's unfortunately for you, Rich, the US is the perfect example of this right now. You can't have countries that are divided 50-50 and that are at complete odds with each other with no middle ground. There's no middle ground. It's just as soon as you get to the edge of anything, it seems to be friction between them. I think you have a similar situation with the right and left in the UK, just not quite as extreme. I don't know. I think there'll be one of two things are going to happen. Either what we know now as being a Western society disappears, or it implodes and then we can make better from it. That involves somebody else not taking advantage of it. But this is where I think the interesting thing with UFOs come from, that it just seems to be coming to a head. And everyone seems to be at each other's throats. And I can't get that last card out of my head. The alien threat last card.
Oh, yeah.
And it just seems the perfect... If you were going to set the pieces up on a chessboard to play that card, if there was an overhanging hand in your New World Order scenario, we are in the perfect place for it. Everyone hates each other. Like you can't be a color without arguing with each other. You can't support a football team. You can't vote for somebody without an argument. What a time to unify people behind one thing, because all you have to do to unify people is to be the person that says, I have all the answers. And that would be all the answers for us.
Another good time would have been after the attacks on the United States as well. That could have been a time, at the end of
World War, only for the US.
No, for the whole world, because we would have taken terrorism out, and maybe we could have all joined forces at that time to stop it from happening to their countries. France got attacked pretty bad right after 9/11 as well for a couple of years with the bombs and stuff.
Yeah.
But you are right. This is the best time ever to have a false flag or even a real alien disclosure. It would be the ultimate way to get everybody back together again, I think. And maybe we could unify, one denomination of money and trade, and everybody just works together. But it's not going to happen that way.
No,
it won't, because the U.S. wants all the power. China wants to rule the world. Russia just wants to stay alive. It's it's never going to, that's why I say, I can't say never, but it's not going to happen in my lifetime, disclosure. I wish it would, because you're right. It is the best time right now. The cards are laid out. And if that deck of cards is accurate, I mean, is it? Has it been accurate? Because we always find out about these things after the fact. And
I mean, the one we've missed was the asteroid. That was the one before the alien threat,
Right.
the asteroid.
Oh, what's it called? What's the name of it now?
Apophis.
well, let's say this. Why don't we just say the asteroid impact was us landing on the asteroid and grabbing a sample of it? Maybe that's what they saw, but misunderstood the message. You know, we just got that stuff back, or whatever country went there and landed on the asteroid last year, whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe that was the impact. Maybe whoever was psychic saw impact of asteroid.
Oh no, he wasn't psychic. It was it was how he dictated the whatever was going to bring around this one world government type thing. That was how it was going to go.
Oh, it's not Edgar Casey.
No. And it was if the world can get together through terrorism, it would be like an asteroid impact where the world would have to get together to try and work out what they would do.
Oh, okay.
Sort of thing. And then the last card would be aliens.
Well, why destroy everything and then have the aliens disclose? So maybe they just skipped that one. Maybe they rethought it.
It makes less sense. It makes more sense going for the big one. I mean, I think we've got if you wanted to do it, if you wanted to fake over, I don't know if you could do it globally, but if you took a city, for instance, if you just said London, like the abomination of a fireworks display that he's had, if you decided you could you took London, you could. I think you could fake it. I think you could make every Londoner think that aliens were arriving, even with technology we know, like with a load of drones tightly packed together, bright lights to make it look like one object, that sort of thing. You could do it with modern technology. So to do it with military technology, I think would be dead easy.
We're talking like, well, you're not even talking Project Bluebeam there. You're talking about actual physical,
using physical objects. Yeah, I still think Project Bluebeam. If that was to be a thing that happened, it would be a mixture between whatever projection technology that was talking about and physical events.
I said to my wife, I don't know if do you remember the first time round during the pandemic where they said that something was about to be released? I can't remember. Was it the New York Times were going to release something? I said to my wife, I said, look, listen, if anything comes out and it hits mainstream media, because she's all over that stuff, right? It's all over the news or whatever, do not believe it. Because if it hits this year, I'm telling you now, I would not have believed it. Anything happens this year, right after everything we've been through,
but that goes back to what I said before, doesn't it? Anything happens, the researchers are going to be the skeptics, and the skeptics are going to be the believers all of a sudden.
The thing is, and I ask myself this question many times, and I also say that a lot. I ask myself that question. But, you know, we keep talking about, will our governments disclose? Will the people up high disclose? What if the fucking aliens decide to disclose? What if
they're all bets are off?
What if they say enough's enough? You're not complying with what we've asked. We'll disclose and we'll show ourselves.
Well, in that case, you want to hope that their decision is you're not worth the hassle.
Right.
Yeah, because I guarantee if they are working kind of like, as they say, the government and this, that, and the other, they're working with, I don't know whether I believe that or not, that people in high up places, they've made agreements, all conspiracies. But what if it's true? What if these little green men, or whatever you want to call them, these beings, they do have an agreement, but any countries disagree, don't we? We disagree as humans, different countries, we all fall out with each other. And a higher being that is way, way probably above our intellect, especially mine. What if they just decide, you know what, this thing that's been going on for years, this build up now, we can see what's happening. We can see what's happening on this thing that they call YouTube, where everybody, all these dickheads are speaking about it, and smoking pot and getting drunk and talking about us, they keep putting us out on talk shows, this, that, and the other. Fuck it. Let's have an experiment. Let's just fucking land.
That's a fair. That's a fair thing. Of like, what would?
How do these people think? These creatures think? How do they think?
I mean, you've still got that tribe, haven't you? That's completely untouched by like humans. We've flown over it now and again. Probably scared the shit out of them. But we don't turn around and say, let's just land a chopper for a laugh.
I fucking would.
I know you, obviously, yeah. Let's just not so no one hears. We'll just land a chopper, maybe some napalm, just for effect, and then we'll go again.
At Columbus, the indigenous people thought that they were seeing weird, the ships. They couldn't express what they were seeing.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like I don't know if it would be the same thing, but I don't know, man. If they did that, everything would just be nuts. People would lose their minds. They know it, or else they would have done it already. There's no reason to do it now. What would be the reason?
Do you believe the story, Rich, of the disarming nuclear weapons and things like that?
But they haven't.
No. But do you believe the stories of them interfering with nuclear weapons and turning them off in silos and things?
I don't know what to believe, man. I mean, I think maybe a couple of guys, maybe 2 times, they're down there working all the time. They don't get to see anybody probably all day. Maybe they were going stir crazy and they're talking about blowing up the world. So let's just blame it on aliens that we started the countdown and then shut it off.
Yeah, I love the idea of that. The same way of when you're on the top of a high building, there's always that little voice in the back head that goes, "What happens if I jump off?"
Yeah.
You endly. What happens if I start a nuclear war with Russia?
My God, that'd be awesome. Let's turn the key. Ready? The boss comes around. You guys stop messing around. Now I gotta say these aliens. What do we come up with?
Just two drunk guys that are permanently in the silo. Both of the keys go on, you do it. You do it. Click. We both did it. Oh no!
Turn it off. Turn it off. Knock over a bottle of Stoli.
But on the flip side of that, if you was an alien species, you were observing Earth, and you saw nuclear weapons start to get dropped, or you wasn't even that interested in the planet, but you were just in the vicinity, and you saw
you mean?
Nukes were getting fired. That I can see why they might think, you know what, this could potentially, in the near future, well, not near future, but the far future, but who knows what they think is the near future? I mean,
why would you think that though?
No, but what, you know how we talk about interdimensional and this, that, and the other? When they're breaking atoms, what if that does something to
time, space, and time?
Yes. Yeah. What if that fucks about with that? Oh my God, I'm a genius. I have come up with it. You've heard that here tonight. It is me. I said that. Not Rachel Lee. I said that.
No, you're not acting like a genius.
Yeah, what if?
You're acting like someone that only just said something clever.
Well, that's the first clever thing I've said in years. But no, but what if those nuclear weapons mess with that
time and space, everything?
Yes. What if it messes with it?
Dismantle everything. It's make another. Yeah, go ahead.
If nuclear weapons did, they'd have already zapped CERN to fuck, and every other like Large Hadron Collider, surely, because I mean that's my one. If I want to know, I don't want to go to Area 51. I want to know what those fuckers are up to. That's if I had somewhere, or I mean, not even certainly. Is there a larger one in China now? Is it China?
Quite possibly.
Yeah. They've also got fucking Black Pyramid as well in the middle of nowhere. I wouldn't mind knowing what that's for. But the CERN stuff. I mean, what an endeavor to create something that the size of the Large Hadron Collider. And do you know what the odd thing about that was? Right, you are you're the same age as me, aren't you?
40.
Yeah.
I'm old, I think.
Yeah, little, just slightly. It's fine. We've both got good skin. It doesn't matter. You remember when they started building the Channel Tunnel?
Yes.
Yeah. And there was this big thing. They're going to start from either side and slowly come together, make the Channel.
I said I'll never drive under that thing. That's what I said.
Oh no! Fuck bridges and fuck trains underwater. Trains are supposed to be on land.
I have never driven under the Channel Tunnel.
No.
To this day. I said it as a kid. It freaks me out.
100% agree
I'm
with you.
underneath fucking mounds and mounds of fucking water. No.
What I'm saying is, no, but listen, what I'm saying is, whenever human beings do something, we like to chronicle it. We like to fucking tell everybody about it step by step and tell people what we're doing. That didn't happen with two things, as far as I'm concerned. It didn't happen with the Large Hadron Collider. All of a sudden, it was just, we've got this fucking thing. Wow, we're going to turn it on soon. And it didn't happen with the International Space Station. It was just, it was just there.
You just mentioned two things there, though.
Not for me. Not for me. I remember when they kept sending up the shuttles twice a month to build that.
That's cool then. But Large Hadron Collider, I still stand by that. That was just.
I don't remember them building that thing.
Assembled and ready to go at one point. I'm sure now, if I look back, there'll be stuff there that tells me what was going on. But at the time, I don't think there was enough noise made about what they were doing. And I mean, think about that for a crazy time when you had like genuinely sort of respected scientists that were saying, well, I'm not sure about this. We might make a black hole and suck the Earth inside its own asshole. You know, but that's a fucking odd time to be alive. It makes me feel slightly better about now, actually, because I don't think we're going to swallow ourselves up.
If Earth does have an arsehole, though, which country is it? Don't answer that.
I'm going to answer it.
There's an asshole in Antarctica.
There is.
Oh, yes.
Siberia.
Oh, I fucking love that video. You know the one that looks like it's been taken out of a plane, where there's all fire and stuff sucking inside the Earth. Yeah. God, I would love that to be real.
I know.
I've not seen it.
Oh my god! That's been around for a long time. That's been around for a long time.
Maybe I have. Maybe I probably have.
Yeah.
But the whole thing when you mentioned there with CERN, and you mentioned with the International Space Station, have you seen the? You may have seen it, Rich. I know you're highly into the sci-fi movies. The Cloverfield's Paradox.
I've seen Cloverfield Paradox as well.
Okay, we've all seen it then.
Terrible film.
Yes, it's not a great film at all. I mean, a guy's hand goes missing and then decides to be not cousin it. What's the thing called from?
Cousin it? Oh no, the thing,
yeah, from Addams Family. That happens in the film, but they're doing the same thing, aren't they? Kind of. Are they not?
What?
In space, they do a big, as my good friend David called it.
Atom Smasher Collider. Yeah, I can't remember, to be honest. It was so long since I watched the film.
But they do that, and then the next thing they turn around, and Earth's disappeared.
Have you watched the fake sacrifice outside CERN?
Oh yeah, where they're wearing the all black and the somebody's filming it from a second floor or something like that.
Yeah. Now, I mean, don't get me wrong, that could be, it probably is just a joke. You know, it probably was just a funny thing they thought to do, and because your man in the film doesn't seem to be particularly like genuine. He's not what you think of as a good actor. But I still find it odd that outside a scientific research center, they have a massive statue of Shiva, the god of destruction.
Yeah. It's a fucking cool statue, though.
It's a very cool statue, but it's not what you would imagine to be something connected to a scientific endeavor.
That's interesting.
If anything, you would expect to strip all religion of any religion away from science. And the fucking god of destruction for a fucking Hadron Collider does not fill me with confidence. Why can't it be like the god of cuddles?
Is that who Sheba is? Is Sheba the god of destruction?
Yeah, not cuddles.
Okay. Poor Cuddles.
When you're thinking about stuff like that, though, and you look at this, I mean, I'm one of these people that when somebody says, well, name it, I can't name it. But, you know, there's companies that do use these kind of like symbols, and there's many companies that do that. I mean, people keep saying about NASA with the chevron, you know, that this symbol is being used in all sorts. I mean, it's just to me a freaking it's a rocket engine. It's the fire coming out of it. That's what it looks like to me, but it's not. It's the chevron. You know, there's different cultures and different companies that tend to use these symbols, but that one that you just spoke about, Sheba, being in CERN,
Sheba's the cat food. I said Shiva.
Did I say Sheba?
Yeah. That's fantastic.
You get Sheba in the States, Rich?
Yes.
Sheba cat food?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's got the black cat on the cover, I think.
Yeah. See, but you don't get Iron Brew.
I don't know. We might. I'm going to check right after the show. I'm going to go to the store.
I love doing podcasts with you, Ollie. You actually make me feel like a comedian sometimes.
You are a comedian.
Weren't you on Britain's Got Talent?
No.
You look like somebody who was.
What, sexy?
Huh?
What, sexy? But yeah, there's definitely something when it comes to like iconography with things, because you see the same patterns like tick up all over the places. I've got friends, or maybe not friends, acquaintances, people spoke to, that are absolutely convinced they only got a job and they've only had certain things happen to their lives because they've used magic to get it. They're absolutely convinced of it, and they're not like like crazy out there woo-woo people. They're what I would consider is like reasonably connected, down to earth, successful people that swear by the fact that they only got certain things in their life because they used magic, which I find a bit crazy.
But at the same time, you know, if you kind of like, I'm not going to say pray for it or, well, yeah, pray for it. If you
secret,
yeah, if
the
you
law of
kind
attraction.
you know, it's almost like you kind of, you give yourself that ability to be able to do something.
Mm-hmm.
Thoughts create things.
They certainly do.
I've done it.
They're not going to create disclosure though, as much as we think it.
Apparently, we need 1% of the world's population to make that happen. If we could all think about it at the same time, then I guess that, what do they call it? The paradigm shift can happen.
Do you think that might be one of the, because I know we're drifting around a bit and this is not necessarily
No, but it's fun.
UFO stuff, but do you think that explains some of the chaos? Because the chaos that's going on in like our culture right now seems to, because it's easy to blame social media, and I think social media has a massive influence on it. But is it the influence or the cause? Like, could social media be influencing the cause? You know, because if it's influencing people to think in a certain way, then you're going to make more people think about this one thing. I always think about it as like, when you watch, it doesn't work quite as well for me because I'm more of a motorsport man than a field sport guy. But when you watch a football match, for instance, and you see a play build up, you kind of know when it's going to come to nothing or it's going to come to something. You feel the event before it happens.
Yeah.
And I've often thought that was because there was so many people willing that goal to go in or willing that ball to be passed. That's made it go in that direction, that people have influenced that physical reality.
Man, I have Yeah, I believe in that stuff.
Yeah, I do. So when you've got something as powerful as social media, where you can, you can have like the cleverest people in the world. Like I'm a big fan of Douglas Murray. I think he's one of the most important thinkers like of modern times. But on the other hand, you have people like Ike and Alex Jones, which I think you could very much look at as almost trickster characters. And if they can get a lot of people to believe what probably bollocks, you know, it's going to upset the fabric of things. And I wonder where that is. That the actual damage that social media has had on like culture and physical reality. I either spoke real bullshit there or something profound because you're not saying anything.
Well, well, no, that's true, and I've spoken to people about that, and it's probably true. That's why this pandemic thing is happening, like it is. Everybody's thinking about it, right? So, isn't it creating that? I mean, I don't know what it's creating. Could be creating more cases for all we know. I don't know, but I think it does have an effect on the psyche. And if we're living in a matrix reality, it definitely changes the algorithm of the game.
What do you feel about the idea of us living in a simulation?
You know, it's an interesting thing. I was just watching, we talked about it yesterday on the show a little bit, and that they're saying now, and a lot of physicists and scientists are looking into it more than ever, but they're saying that we're living inside of someone's thoughts. I can't explain it any other way.
No, I watched something the other day because the was that the same thing where they put out the similarities between the what space or the cosmos looks like, or what a galaxy looks like, and what a brain looks like? Is that it?
No, nope. It was a
No.
Michio Kaku thing.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I can find it real quick and just. But yeah, they were talking about how it is. Like if somebody's thinking or about to go to sleep and they start dreaming, we could be the dream.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the universe. Maybe that is it, Rich. Maybe that we're inside somebody else's thoughts, and in my brain there is an entire galaxy. And that is, and it goes on and on and on and on, and that is the endless universe.
Yeah,
that's genius. I like it. Who said it?
You did. You can be a genius again.
Yeah,
no,
you did.
No, what do you say? Who was the guy that said it?
About what? What part?
The brain.
Michikaku.
Who said?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe not a genius then, but
still
a nice guy.
Well, he was just saying that.
I prefer him to Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Me too.
I would prefer to hear my science from Mike deGrasse Tyson as opposed to him.
Do you trust him?
No.
You can't.
Absolutely not.
Something odd, isn't there? There's something, I can't put my finger on it. There's something just like, something just doesn't smell right.
Well, you can see it in. I'm going to do it again because I always do. You can see it when he has the conversations with Rogan. You stick him in a situation where he speaks to somebody for 3 hours or 2 hours. He has some good sound bites that come out of it, but ultimately doesn't sound like an intelligent person. Now, I'm not saying I'm a more intelligent person than him, but I'm saying he's not like world-renowned nuclear physicist fucking intelligent.
But couldn't you argue that against people like Bob Lazar?
No, because I think he comes across as a very intelligent person. He comes across as a guy which knows what he's talking about.
What part about Bob Lazar, to me, that comes across as intelligent is that he has his company, and that deals with that kind of stuff. What's his company called now?
Intelligent people are always a bit chaotic. I think that's the most intelligent people are always a bit chaotic. They're never calm and measured. It's always a Lazar or a Elon Musk or even a Bezos, to be perfectly honest. There's always that hint of either crazy scientist or super villain about them. And
so just to stay on topic of the 180 days of UFOs, so these rich people, again, you've got the Jeff Bezos, you got the Elon Musks, you got Richard Branson. That's the only 3 people I can think of off the top of my head right now. But none of these people other than Bigelow seem to be interested in this subject.
Bill Gates.
I could be Bill Gates is interested.
No, he's not interested. But
yeah. Good old Bill. It's not talking about Gates. I'd definitely get taken down.
Take it out.
Yeah,
we'll get Seth Rich.
But I do like your controllers though. Yeah, it only seems to be Bigelow that's ever kind of like I didn't say embrace them, but he's kind of he's invested money into the actual research of this subject. But none of the others seem that I know of. I could be wrong there. I'm wrong, Rich.
What part?
It only seems to be Bigelow in terms of like money.
Every time I see Bigelow, I can't help thinking in my head, male gigolo.
Yes,
Bob Bigelow, the male gigolo.
Oh my God, that's the best. You got to make a cartoon, Ollie.
But you know what I mean?
He seems like the only one that, with money, other than Brandon Fugel, who bought Skinwalker Ranch, that is doing this kind of work for private people.
But didn't he buy that off Bigelow?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He has the TV show now, you know.
Mm.
But Rich,
And-
I only heard of Brandon Frugal through the documentaries and about Skinwalker Ranch. That's the only time.
There's something ironic about a man called Frugal, which spends millions of dollars on a farm that
it's
has
Fugal.
aliens on it.
But it's F-U-G-A-L.
Oh, is it Fugal? Okay.
Yeah. I like frugal. That's why I didn't say anything. It's like Tom DeShlong.
How isn't that a porn star?
Because he isn't schlong.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think of Skinwalker Ranch, Rich?
Pardon?
What do you think of Skinwalker Ranch?
I think there's unusual activity. There might be something to do with the way the earth is, the rocks over there. Maybe there's some ley lines, a lot of energy, running water. It's a big place, not small. What is it, 40 acres? So it's not really small, like, you know, one stable. But there's been a lot of, you got a lot of indigenous people that live in that area that talk about the star people and all that. You know, they've always had their cryptids. They talk about shapeshifters and things like that.
Well, that's what a Skinwalker is, isn't it? As a shapeshifter.
Yep, and I think it's just a bunch of folklore and a lot of hoopla. I haven't seen any evidence come out of there yet. And they had the TV show last year, and or whatever it is, and I was watching it, and they had some interesting things like lights that appeared on the mountain and went across the mountain, but dots in the sky, but nothing conclusive. And my thing is, what do they think they're going to find there? Bigelow spent 7 years there. He's already combed the property 100 times. There's nothing there. I don't think so. It's my opinion. I think if there was anything there, it's gone now. I think Bigelow has it. Fugal bought the ranch and is trying to make something out of nothing.
Unless, I mean, yeah.
Unless what?
Unless
if there was evidence, where is it?
Well, unless it's not physical, that's what I mean. Unless there's things that are sort of drifting in and out of reality, that, you know, it's a special place. If you want, that would be the only thing. And Bigelow's thought he's done enough research. You know, you could have a crazy place where crazy things happen, and you spend an awful lot of money learning nothing.
Do you think Bigelow bought it because of his curiosity, or do you think
he did buy it because of curiosity?
Yeah, did he though?
Yeah, he did. He didn't buy it to raise calves.
That's what we hear. But what if he bought it because he was interested in the technology?
Technology?
Well, whatever is bringing these things in, you know.
It's interesting. Anything that he can get out of there, big time. Well, if you have a portal that opens up, supposedly, wouldn't you want to know how that portal formed? Of course.
And maybe it was a case of him just putting so much money in to research something and still coming out with absolutely nothing. Just
the guys who work there kept saying. They would go up to him and say, we're not seeing anything. There's nothing. And and he would be like, well, find something, you know, and they're like,
give me a return.
Yeah. So they tried telling Bigelow, and eventually he just like, all right, let's pack it up and get out. And then there's this guy in Arizona at the Stardust Ranch who claims he's killing aliens, you know, with the samurai sword. And as soon as you kill them, they disappear. It's like the best loophole ever. Perfect.
Amazing. And you know the best thing is? It's really tidy.
What is?
Well, you wouldn't want to hack them and then have to clean them up afterwards.
There would be evidence. Yeah,
you could do it. It's like if you find one in your kitchen, you just hack him and he's gone. You can make a sandwich afterwards.
And you can butter your bread with the knife you used or the sword you used. Yeah, he's a joke, and people still have him on their shows because it's connected. Yeah, you think connected to the Skinwalker Ranch somehow, but the guy's a fraud.
What do you think? What was your man that was part of the UFO documentary? He was being abducted. he was the guy with the face in the window. He was later found to have child pornography on his computer, I think.
Oh, Stan Romanek.
Yeah. What do you think of him?
Total fraud.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's. I found something out about. Well, I made a little discovery that when me and Lionsground was this. Well, there was a video on his first channel that got deleted, or he took it down himself. I don't know, but he did a video on Stan Romanek, and he was asking me about him, and I did some research on him. Stan Romanek is extremely dyslexic, and like myself, other than I'm no pedo, but I can draw and I can create stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Most people that are dyslexic are very creative.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one of his friends was talking about Stan's dyslexia and how creative he is. And they was almost bringing that into the documentary as in like a plus, as he's got a very creative mind. You know, this is probably why he's seeing these things. But other people that had spoke to him through his life that knew him, which was factual, was speaking about his dyslexia.
Mm-hmm.
So I said to Lionsground, one of the reasons why you may be able to disprove what he's showing, other than the bullshit where he's chucking the pen and this, that, and the other, and it does look like a doll. I think he's actually made it all himself. He's actually creating this, so he's not actually got, maybe he might have his wife in it on it or whatever, but he's actually physically making this stuff.
I don't believe that he physically made that.
No, I do.
Only because of the blinking, the way it blinked.
Look at Skinny Bob.
Yeah, but that's so obviously CGI.
It's CGI.
The chat's been talking about that, and that, but Skinny Bob's interesting as well, because anyone that listens to Must See Audio that either listens to the podcast or maybe even someone in the chat that listens to Must See Audio will know I do. A regular sort of co-host of mine is a girl called Susie, and she's really fucking good at doing stuff. One of those people that's irritatingly good at things when she decides to do it. So she's just decided to start using Blender to do like CGI stuff on. And what she's doing, it looks fucking great. But to make like a 5-second clip of what appears to be like a drone going over a forest, I mean, the time she's put into doing that is unbelievable. And that's now with modern graphics cards. And modern processors doing that sort of stuff. But this does go back for the Skinny Bob footage as well.
2009.
Yeah, exactly. And it's how I believe it could be done in 2009 because you have things like movie special effects. But I'm confused as to why no one took credit for it. No one, that's crazy. Stan Romanek thing, the blinking on that doll, I think was beyond his capability.
Well,
dyslexic or not.
Well, see, that's where I differ because you give me a book to read and ask me what it was about afterwards.
Yeah.
I kind of give you kind of like a little bit of
There's a difference, isn't there? There's a difference between making a model which does something.
Give me
blinking's an odd thing.
Lee, you give me the tools, I'll make that fucker blink outside my window. I'm telling you now.
You make its eye shut, but there's
because it's an illusion, because it's a window, it's a misted window, and through just like Skinny Bob. So Skinny Bob, yes, I'm in total agreement.
Was it misted? It wasn't misted. It was clear.
Oh, well,
there was reflections in the window.
It's a bit of a,
yeah.
It's not perfect. Yeah,
it wasn't frosty, but what I'm saying is that Skinny Bob, yes, it was done in 2009,
yep.
And it's so well done. It is amazing, well done. Amazing, well done. It makes sense, but it's phenomenal. It's really brilliant work. But I think it is work. But yes, there's the question.
I think Stan Romanak's video looks more convincing than Skinny Bob.
But why? Why Ivan 6135, whatever he's called? I forgot his name now. But why did he make that? Because he's never had any credit for it. There's not any advertisement. There's 4 videos. But
100% agree with you. 100% agree with you.
What I'm saying
is, if you took out the 2 stories of both things, and you showed me Skinny Bob, and you showed me Stan Romanak's video, I would say Stan Romanak's video looks like a physical object, and Skinny Bob looks like a computer render.
I'm in disagreement 100%.
Which one with?
Everything he said, the opposite. I think Skinny Bob looks more real than Stan Romanek's puppet.
See, I think Skinny Bob looks like it moves too smooth. That's
what objects that can move look like.
Yeah, but not in film. Yeah, even looking at my hand now, like doing that on YouTube, which doesn't have my podcast, but it doesn't look smooth. Whereas there's a silkiness to Skinny Bob footage. It's the blinking to be perfectly honest, in both of them is amazing. It's such a difficult thing to make something blink convincingly and to make something look alive, and they both do look alive to me.
Can we take a look, Ollie?
Yeah. I was going to say to you, Rich,
got it ready here for you.
Yeah. Pop it up.
All right, let me put this.
No, I do feel like Poundland Joe Rogan.
See,
because people can't hear them, can't look at the video.
180 days disclosure of the UFOs. It all boils down to Stan Romanak.
You got to share it. There we go.
Rich, do me a favor, turn the audio off though, because it's there's StreamYard for some reason has got this weird echoey thing. I can't work it out why.
All right. So Stan goes. He just saw a flash of light, I think. See that
dot? Yeah.
But apparently there's been a peeping Tom. Watch it. Oh,
that's a very strange action. I'll give you that.
I thought Stan is peeping Tom. Isn't Stan the peeping Tom?
Yeah. No. I think his wife.
Benjamin Phillips said Romanak's puppet had digital blinking. Explain to me digital blinking in a short post.
I don't think it had digital blinking. I think it's a puppet.
But yeah, that's what I think.
Let's see if things look.
But does he seem like the sort of man which has the resources?
Doesn't matter. Yeah. He could have made it himself. Look, there's the fake flash. His wife's out there with the bright light, a flashlight, and a camera, probably.
That flash felt more like it came from inside, to be fair.
Yeah, it definitely. That's Stan taking a picture, doing something, probably. So she did it. He did it. And here it comes. See what Ollie was talking about? How it kind of looks like there's a film over it.
Yeah. No. I get it now. Yeah, it looks almost like there's a
screen.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why I know this.
I still stand by the blinking though.
Yeah, but you guys, do you? I know this is kind of like it's a bad example.
I get a better.
Do you remember the toy from the 80s, Boglins?
Yeah.
And you can make them blink.
I think the duck down is too quick as well.
But he's got a natural. He's already got his filter set up. That window is the filter. Now,
let's see if this version's a little better.
Filter for what? I mean, there is a reflection in it. There's a reflection in the glass. There, you can see a reflection from his doorway.
Come on, you freaking alien, you prick.
And what I see, I'm wondering whether what makes it look like there's a filter there is the
Rich increases.
What?
You just
make it bigger. That's what she said.
Did you guys see? I saw a little light dance right there. Something comes over right here. Watch. Right there. Yeah,
I don't see
maybe
that.
there is weird activity. I didn't want it big, Ollie, because it distorts it more.
I've just realized what makes it look like there's a film. If you just pause it for a second, it's what looks like the beginning of some sort of screen is the window frame. You're seeing the outside of the window frame, so that underneath on the middle thing, you can see the window frame, and then if you go down slightly, you're seeing the outside or the reflection of that. That's what's given it the film look. I don't think there's a screen there. I think that's just the reflection.
No. Sorry. You get me wrong there. When I say screen, what I mean is the window is a natural screening process. So it's got the physical effect behind the window, but the window is acting as almost the filter. Like, so Skinny Bob, for example, is probably about a practical effect with special effects put on top of it, with different filters put on top. What I'm saying is Stan Romanak here is using the window as a mask to show how fake the actual, probably the physical object looks. Do you know what I mean? That's what I'm saying.
No,
you don't know.
But I noticed this here. You see, it's not aligned. You can see there's two windows because it also. I don't know what this is, unless this is.
Well, that's like a Velux window. So the reason that you can see that window more prominently is because that bottom window slides up. Right. So it's forwards. So that's why the reflection will be out. The only reason I know that is I'm a decorator. I paint the fuckers all the time.
All right, here we go. It's coming up. Let's see if we can see it with the little.
All I don't like about this is the way it ducks back down. I think the way it ducks back down is weird. It looks like a comedy.
Yeah,
film.
it looks fake, right? When it ducks.
Yeah, it looks odd.
It's because it's a puppet. You can move a puppet fast.
It's the blinking though.
But you see the waviness of the video too. Yeah, I think night vision is on. He has night shot on. Green.
Yeah.
See that? This is so bad. That's not even a good version. Let me see if there's a better version one more time. There it is right there.
Yeah, that one's really good.
Yeah.
I'm surprised Netflix still showing his documentary, you know.
Unbelievable. Usually rips people down when they have
non-certified
activities like he did.
Well, this looks like it might be better, but let's take a look.
That's Rich Havoc 215 has just put my favorite post up that you find of any.
Okay.
Of
Rich Havoc.
Yeah, of anything on like conspiracy wise, he's just posted up. ETs don't act like that at all. And you're like, how do you know? How do you know?
Wreaking Havoc. So Wreaking Havoc.
Wreaking. Sorry, I thought it was Rich. Sorry.
Oh, it's Wreaking Havoc.
Yeah, we both interviewed.
That makes much more sense.
Wait, Wreaking Havoc has a good version on his channel. Is that
no? Wreaking Havoc saying ETs don't act like that at all. Because you see his thumbnail, Lee.
Yeah.
I
think he follows me on Facebook, on Twitter actually.
Yeah, I interviewed him. So that thumbnail, that thumbnail design, I did in Photoshop for him.
Oh, amazing!
No, because he's on the channel and he speaks about his encounter with two.
I don't know.
Greys.
Oh right, okay, cool. Sorry, if you have your own story for it, so that's fair. If you're
mate, but he literally said they looked like two, like almost cardboard cut out faces at his window.
Well, that would suggest that it does look like that. Surely.
Well, I'm not seeing anybody with a better, like, there's one video that says better version, or they kind of made it brighter, but I don't see it.
I think you're battling time, aren't you? That's the thing. You're battling night vision. You're battling bad photography.
At the end of the day, the guy is a liar.
That's interesting, though. If you just put that up there,
I know, right? It's a guy.
Yeah. Right. Right. That doesn't look like what you just looked at.
Fucking shit myself.
I'd have gone outside and I'd have kept hitting that man in the face until he stopped making noises. If that happened at my house,
What noises were he making?
This is just a reenactment.
then it would have gone squelchy. Then it would have gone silent.
Forever. All right. Well, I'm not going to spend the rest of the night looking for this thing.
No.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, at the end of the day, Stan he's a liar. He's a fraudster, and you're welcome on the show anytime if you get proven not guilty for being
if you're allowed an internet connection.
Your skinny boob. There's the UFOs. That's
a cool photo. That's a cool scene.
That looks very.
Yeah, I like that as well. See, this has been shown nowhere else before.
This where you see it over the city. Does that look like if you go back? Is that like over Washington? The first one.
Thought it was.
Anyone that's interested that's listened to this audio wise, if you want to go back and listen to watch what we're watching, if you go back and look for Skinny Bob, you will get something that looks essentially like what you think is like an old sort of cine camera, which is all broken up and crackly black and white thing, and there's flying saucers on it, and then eventually you'll start seeing like what look like alien greys, and that's what we're talking about when we talk about Skinny Bob.
Our Thunderbirds.
See, this to me looks different. That looks like different footage.
You see this bit here, apparently here right now.
Wait,
that
was the real alien that was supposed right there. That's a real alien.
That looks so much more convincing than everything else in the footage.
They said that they left a couple of seconds of the real alien and everything else is fake.
Well, what are the chances then? I mean, you would think, because I've often had this with the guys that did the Roswell autopsy video, the British guys.
Yeah.
Still now, when I watch that, I'm surprised how little that's dated.
What do you mean?
The alien autopsy still looks incredibly authentic.
I think it's a real body of a person. That's why. Here's what I want to Skinny Bob. Most people, you think if you were making a costume or something that the hands would be even. See, this is interesting to me that because one side of your body is longer than the other.
Yeah.
Usually an inch. And that's pretty interesting that they remembered to do that here. Unless
never noticed that before, and that is very interesting.
So maybe, it's a real person in here wearing some sort of. See, I think it looks real because it pulls down. The muscles are being pulled.
Rich, go back down. Go back down.
This is the thing, because personally, I think the way it moves looks like CGI. But the shading and the, like you said,
up the body, the hands, when you can see his hands.
Oh.
No. I'd hate to get fingered by him.
No, you love it.
It was like, that was all it was for, wasn't it? That was all it was for.
I'm sorry. I just saw them fingers and I was like, holy shit.
Is that a long fingernail right there?
He does like he's got fingernails. Yeah, little black ones.
Big fingers.
I think you find their fingernails of colour.
For the record, I would not like to be fingered.
Here's Skinny Bob wearing space black. And this is the new costume for the new.
What is this? What is this here? What are we looking at there?
His shadow.
What was that?
Swede.
What is this? What is this? There's a round thing here. Is this
I don't know. I mean, that looks like it's supposed to be the shadow of his head. So I would suggest, because it's like a splodge. Maybe it's something in the motion of the film.
And here they are. And the runway models are getting ready before the show backstage.
See, that looks CGI, but it looks like really good CGI. And that's the thing. For the time.
Oh, this is the ship, I think.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So what's the shadow?
I thought the shadow was head.
I don't know.
Oh, that's quite interesting because he's being measured. I'd never seen that before.
Yeah, me neither. I didn't notice it.
It would be.
That's like one of those things you get in the hospital that measures you.
Yeah, that's right. That's kind of cool.
That's really interesting. Yeah, that's an odd thing to stick in as well.
See, if this is the UFO, the egg-shaped UFO, then we're just seeing maybe a picture. I know, could be landscape for all we know. It's blurry, I think. No, it's not. I don't know.
No.
But Skinny Bobbaroonie, there he is.
But I think it shows how cool that is. What did you say? Was that 9 years ago?
Let's see. Well, it doesn't say here.
It was
2009.
Wow. I mean, and yet we're still sat here talking about it and nobody said anything.
They could have done it. I think they could have made that back then.
It would have cost a lot of money, though. You couldn't. I don't think you could do that at home. I don't think you could have done that in a. No, it's not. You couldn't have. Even if you'd spent like top end, like right now, you go out and buy yourself a 3090 or whatever it is, and stick that on your computer with a fucking Threadripper in it. You could go and do some serious CGI work. I don't think you could do that back then on top end home hardware.
What if some guys at Disney just got a little bit high, or they won too many cards and they just thought,
you talk about months of work, though. But you talk about months, if not over a year of work.
Okay, they've finished filming the toys, for the day, and they've got a few hours spare. They think,
what are we going to do with those alien B footage we've got?
Do a little project, yeah, and it's just little social experiment. See where they
originally in Toy Story, the vending machine was supposed to be full of Skinny Bobs, and they just said no, that's far too fucking scary. And
really?
They put and then they put the little strange alien in. But no, you are right. The Skinny Bob footage is more interesting than Roman footage.
Yeah, that and Skinny Bob isn't a molester.
Hey,
you don't know that.
No one has evidence that Roman X alien touched anybody.
Well,
this is one of the things as well. Did he not say? I'm sure he said in a report somewhere that said he'd been set up.
right.
Well, I mean,
is he not going to say that?
I think if you'd
Tyler said it.
Tyler who? Oh, Tyler, yeah. I think if he came out with the alien stuff after he'd been done, I'd agree with you. But he'd already come out with his alien stuff, so that does lend itself the credence of being set up. But was Stan Robanak really that fucking credible that you'd want to get rid of him? Do you know what I mean? It's not like he had a fucking CD to get to WikiLeaks.
Do you know something? That footage outside the window could look spectacular, but the way he acted when he was setting up and skipping across the carpet, that straight, that was like, nah.
He could just be fucking weird. You can have weird people that weird things happen to. It's he's just, if we're perfectly honest, he's just not a particularly masculine man. I'm sure, aliens have got types. Maybe they go for the feminine man sometimes.
He definitely looks like a man that in his spare time wears tights.
Yeah.
All
the time.
He looks like the kind of man in his spare time who wears Power Rangers costumes. But he's an odd guy. Like there's no like if you take everything out of it, he's an odd fella.
Do you know, I knew as soon as I put the title up 180 days to UFO disclosure, it was a bad idea.
Because it gave it a theme.
Because it gave the video a theme and it has no theme. If you've made it this far, folks,
See,
I knew this was going to happen.
This is what I don't envy you for, though, is that like when I put a podcast up, I make the title after the podcast's finished.
Yeah, I used to do that when I didn't do live videos, but it's kind of hard when they're live.
It's just number them and give it a bullshit title.
I usually change title after, depending on what we talked about.
I'm going to have to change this now.
Yeah, I would. I would Skinny Bob Romanek 180 days.
180 days of Romanek.
Skinny Romanek.
So do you believe the Skinny Bob footage is an alien? Rich?
I don't know, but if I was to say anything is, I would say that's the best alien footage we've seen. That's all I know. I don't know if it's real, but it looks darn real to me. But
like
I know
too perfect for
Really? You think that thing they were moving around too perfectly?
Yeah, for this has been leaked from the CIA. He's the real, play the real. It's all crackly and it's got a line through it. And, you know, it feels like the beginning to an X-Files episode.
Yeah, I know. You're probably right.
But that's where I still stumble on the fake alien autopsy is still fucking looks like someone's cutting an alien apart.
So this is the weird thing with that alien autopsy, because I almost did a video on it, but every video that you do on the alien autopsy gets flagged by YouTube.
Really?
Yes. For
because we wanted to do a watch along, didn't we?
It's it gets flagged as body mutilation.
Okay.
You can put it up, but you're putting yourself in danger of putting it up. Because I've been wanting to do a video about it.
Everyone's seen it. Could you do the video with it all blurred out, with the gore blurred? Because it's very graphic. It's essentially they remove a rib cage and take organs out of something. They
cut its top of its head off.
Yeah.
They peel its eyes
out. It's not ideal.
I didn't even know
you wouldn't show your kids.
Can I peel my eyes out?
Don't do it now. Your video will get flagged. But but I find it odd with that, because like your man that did that, I forget his name now. He comes across as massively untrustworthy. But he also comes across as a man that just wants to make money.
You're talking about the guy who did the original VHS.
Yeah. But this is the interesting thing with this Skinny Bob footage, is because his it's kind of what he said the alien autopsy was, because he still says that film has bits that look like the Skinny Bob footage at the end of it, and he still says that they are real excerpts from the footage. The footage got damaged. They had to recreate it because they spent all this money, and then they spliced it in. So his story is that it was a restoration, like a historical restoration of a historical document, essentially. And again, at the time, I remember that. Like, I don't know if you had it in the States, but I remember that. Like the black and white picture of that body on the front pages of British newspapers when that broke. It was a huge story, and people forget that. Like, it was I mean, that has to be as far as the UK, the biggest thing to break in the UK. But 1995, yeah.
As the first UFO magazine I bought.
But it was on like the front page of like the Sun and the Daily Mirror and stuff back then as well. You know, it wasn't like a flash in the pan just for UFO stuff. Your video's going to get flagged now, mate.
Yeah, but it's not moving. They're not chopping. I can show a half-eaten leg.
Chopping.
I love the fact that he had that to hand. Like that's
no, it's next to my desk. It's next to my desk. I don't know. I need to frame it or something. But
yeah.
the weird thing with that is, and I've always thought this, because when it came out as a hoax, and I just thought, like, okay, show us the.
I'll be dead honest. I still don't believe it's a hoax. I believe it's real. I'll be dead honest.
So here's the thing with that, okay? And I know. Yeah, it's definitely something.
I believe that the fact of it being a hoax, I think that was the cover up. I think was the.
They said it was fake. They came out.
No, I believe that's the cover up. I think someone's had a word with them and said, "Look, fucking sort yourselves out."
Okay, so they come out as a hoax, but normally when something comes out of the hoax, you show. It will show the original. So this piece of footage, was filmed. They said it was, what was it, high 8 or what? I don't know what they call it, but
35mm, I thought.
Yeah. So, but surely if I was filming a hoax, I would film maybe, I don't know, a little bit of me making it or me filming on a really good camera next to the hoax. So when it finally does come out, if I'm making money on it, I know I've got as a businessman, I can make a bit more money on it releasing the documentary of how it was made. But we've never seen that. We've never seen this original kind of.
And the man that made the dummy is essentially disappeared. It's only ever your man with the glasses that you see that ever talks about it. If you can just pop that back up on the camera for a second. The front cover's fine. No, front cover's fine. So I want the side shot of the head. The bruising and stuff that's above the temples, that looks like a fucking living creature. I don't care what anybody says. Like the difference in the shading on the back of the head, where it looks like it's bruised there. The way they've done the ears, it looks like a living animal.
Do you know what doesn't look real to me?
It was a person with melon head syndrome.
No, it wasn't. The guy that it came out that it was a prosthetic model made by a guy which just happened to be into practical effects that was filled with animal parts from the butchers. That was the story. And I don't believe that. I know people that are really good at practical effects, that do like really good makeup and stuff like that do makeup for film sets. And I know people that can do that shit. They couldn't do that.
Let me tell you something, what's wrong with the video, why it's fake, why it is fake. First of all, it's done in black and white. If it's an alien, they're going to film it in color. And yes, they had color film back then. They would have used it.
That's absolutely fair.
Number 2, blurry. When they got close-ups, it was all blurry. Number 3, they're pulling out just chunks and blocks of meat. It doesn't look like an insides. There's a lot of problems with this thing. And those are 3 major ones right there. I know. What does an inside of an alien look like? Well, I got to tell you, that looks like an alien hybrid human being. I think we would see what looks like in us, in it, similarly, not just pulling out stuff. You got to cut stuff apart, man.
And it's got no sex organ.
But a split second ago, you thought it was somebody with like melon head syndrome.
No, he said that.
Oh, he said that. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, I said melon.
My big thing is the skin, is the texture and the coloration of the skin. It's it looks like something that was alive. And
That's very well done. Absolutely.
You know what the most scariest thing is if it is a practical hoax of an actual real body, that's fucking
Right.
Yeah. That's up there with Elon Musk smuggling a body in his spacesuit and sending him into space in a car.
Yes. They get people to do that for science when they die, donate their body to science. My body's going to be donated to science fiction.
I'm such a big fan of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Such a big fan of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and the fact that I don't panic on the dashboard. That.
Oh, yeah.
Warmed my soul.
Ollie, I got to get going.
No, I was just literally about to end the show anyway, Rich, because
That's
we've
crazy.
been an hour and a half. But
How long were we on? 2 hours.
yeah, see, I mean, boys, I can't thank you enough for talking about the 180 days leading up to disclosure
For 5 minutes.
Not much to say.
There's nothing to say. There's nothing to say.
Well, see, I think genuinely, I think when that comes out, what regardless of what we think it is, we are going to have a paradigm shifting event. Whether what it's for, why it's for, is debatable. But I don't think it's just to get funding. I think it's too much in the public eye.
Well, that's the problem with ufology. They say this is happening, that's happening, and then this happened. It's not going to happen. It's always that way. In 2005, they said there's going to be disclosure next year. In 2006, sorry, it's going to be in 07. 2007 didn't come. They said 2010, I promise. And then they stopped saying disclosure is going to happen until TTSA came out. But it's always something. That's it. I don't know why they keep us, with the carrot dangling. There's got to be a reason for it. Maybe to get us, acclimated to the idea that aliens are here. But now they're a threat, supposedly. So maybe they know something we don't know. Mm-hmm. Very, very tricky subject.
I think people need to stop watching so many UFO videos as well on YouTube. And I mean that in the nicest possible way.
Hey, man, why do you say that?
Not UFO channels.
No, I think you need to kind of branch out,
Where?
Everywhere.
Facebook?
No, I'm not talking about other platforms. Stick to this platform, but literally all you need is a bit of Must See audio, a bit of GUFON, a bit of Alien Addict. That's all you need.
That's all you need in life. Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, and don't let me forget, a little bit of the boys now and again.
Oh, right on.
Rich, you're running Third Phase's second channel, which is doing. You're doing a lot of work on there. You're doing a lot of work on GUFON.
Yeah. About a year ago, I was only doing 2 shows a week. Now I'm doing a show every night, and Third Phase as well. 4 nights a week, it seems. It's a lot of work. And
you're looking like. Do you know Third Phase Moona?
Yeah. I know. I know me YouTube UFO stuff. Just because I'm not part of the community.
Question. But yeah, before we do get off, because Rich, you've got to get off. That's fine. And we have been going almost an hour, 2 hours and a half, 2.5 hours.
My bladder is the size of my fucking lungs.
Yes, that too. Rich, I'll start with you for anybody that. I mean, I'm sure people do know who you are, but where can they find you, Rich? Your link is in the description, but let them know.
It's Greatest UFO Network. Just type in GUFON, like MUFON with a G. Yes, it's a play on words, but that's what it means. Every night, 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific, and also Third Phase, like I said, every other day. There's a video going up there. So that's where you can find me. Facebook, Twitter, same name. Instagram, TikTok.
Are you on TikTok?
I am. I have a couple of videos on there.
On TikTok.
Are you?
Must see audio clips is on TikTok.
Awesome.
I've never even downloaded the app.
Oh,
That's
it's
great.
fun.
It's just loads of girls in lycra pants dancing. It's fucking brilliant.
What's it called? TikTok again?
Smooth.
How do you spell that? Oh. And Lee, where can we find you?
Smooth, Ollie. Smooth.
It's me, Alien, dropping off.
You can find me on everything where you can get podcasts at Must See Audio, and you can follow me on things like Instagram and Twitter at A Total Shunt. You know what? If there's a man that regrets his Twitter handle any more than me, I would be fucking surprised.
I've always wondered why it's called At a Total Shunt.
Because all I was doing was motor racing stuff at the time.
Right. Okay.
That's because I was so deep with Formula One stuff. It was all about that. You know, that I thought, oh, it's fucking like car crash, isn't it? Yeah, great. Not for a split second, because did I think, oh, I might want to go out and do my own stuff? No, didn't think of that. Fucking idiot.
Right, boys, if you can bear with me, just so I can say goodbye to you both. And
do we go to the green room now?
Right.
He's
Still here?
Bye.
It's Greer Cat.
I'm sure Stephen feels really uncomfortable there right now.
I'm gonna stick it right up your Greer.
Oh, that is brilliant. That's amazing.
Oh dear me. So, folks, thank you so much to everybody in the chat. It's been a bit of a weird one tonight, because I kind of knew this was going to happen, that we wouldn't discuss the 180 days leading up to because there's nothing to discuss. Let's face it, people. Whatever's going to happen, it's going to happen. And if there's anything positive or bad out of it, we're probably not going to hear. Though I would like to hear if there is anything on these meta materials. But apart from that, guys, in the chat, you are so supportive. Thank you, people. Thank you to the super chatters. Thank you for everybody for all the great comments. I need to get rid of this little cougar here. But yeah, it has been an interesting show. And I will probably see you next week for another show. I actually haven't got a guest sorted out for next week. So if you want to come on the show, send me your story. Email it at, what's my email now? There it is. alienaddictuk@gmail.com. That's because somebody stole alienaddict@gmail.com. But I'll pay you good money for it if you actually give me the Alien Addict. Whoever's got Alien Addict at gmail.com, I'll give you £10 for it. But guys, thank you so much. You've been beautiful, and yeah, we'll get it. I'm going to try and get some more shows out for you. I know I say that a lot, but I'm in lockdown now. I'm looking after the kids. I'm painting stuff on my wall, and you know, in between that, I could make some videos or something. But let me know let me know in the comments section what you want from Alien Addict. Good night. God bless.